A dark thriller with psychological and violent tone. My Gale. We've spoken about this novel on our channel, and the time has come to take a look at its film adaptation. The notorious one. You've seen the thumbnail. Ah, yes. Welcome, one and all, to Check That Book, a special place on the internet where we get acquainted with arguably the most disturbing books ever written, take a look at some disturbing fairy tale origins, recite poetry, look at weird games that I love nonetheless. I mean, weird doesn't always mean bad. We try to look at the odd, not through a negative lens, like most people tend to do. Thierry Jean Cat's 1995 novel My Gale, which we've spoken about earlier on this channel, the link will be in the description, naturally, got its infamous film adaptation, directed by Pedro Almodovar. They share a common story, obviously, but what we do in this rubric is that we dive a wee bit deeper into the key differences, what was done well, what wasn't done well. But in Almodovar's case, it's always done well. Antonio Banderas gets to shine in this stylized, melancholic, and surreal film. The film itself blends sci-fi, melodrama, and body horror, making it more of an art house film than a traditional thriller. You remember the story: a scientist slash surgeon kidnaps a person and does things to said person, with a shocking twist towards the end for shocking reasons to boot. Again, you can watch my introduction to the novel, to the story, in the description below, but also, again, there's a plethora of videos on YouTube. Again, this is quite an infamous novel and an even more infamous and disturbing piece of cinema. Why I said surgeon slash scientist. In the novel, the main character is a plastic surgeon and sadist, punishing a person he believes ruined his daughter's life, whilst in the film he's a brilliant but ethically unhinged scientist, developing artificial skin driven by grief and obsession. A rape and death of one particular character is a catalyst to all of the events happening both in the novel and the film, and whilst motivation and backstory are quite similar in both book and the film, in My Gale, Richard's actions, Richard the surgeon, are driven by a twisted sense of revenge and justice, but in the skin I live in, it's quite the same, but also there is this scientific ambition that we witness, and of course, grief. Grief sometimes makes us do terrible things without giving it a second thought. I'd also like to mention the pacing. The novel is quite fast-paced and plot-driven, gritty, whilst the film is very slow-burning and it has some intricate visuals. Again, it's Almodovar we're talking about, so there's this non-linear storytelling, which I actually like because not everything has to be spoon-fed to you. I mean, Almodovar doesn't treat us like kids. He doesn't treat us as like we're stupid. He trusts that we have our own emotional intelligence to process and guess what's going on the screen. Both stories end with the captive, Vera, reclaiming identity. But My Gale, the novel, has a darker, more nihilistic ending, which again I won't spoil. The Skin I Live In ends on a more ambiguous and emotional note, offering a glimpse of reclaiming agency. And that also is a nice touch to such a difficult film. I would like to step back for a second and mention that what happens in this film and the story in general in the very beginning, the rape part, yes, that I've spoken of. I'm one of those people who believe that this is the worst crime that could be committed ever. Sex offenders are the worst kinds of criminals, in my not so humble opinion. You may agree, you may disagree. We had this ugly act committed, and later on, the person who is responsible gets his punishment in a very twisted way. I personally kind of enjoyed it in a very dark way, but it felt justified and ironic even, because okay, this is going to be a spoiler territory. Spoiler alert, please skip to this time mark if you don't want this story spoiled, because this is going to be a huge reveal. If you haven't read the book or seen the film, I highly recommend at least see the film if the book sounds like something too difficult, because the film is very well done. The person who does this, commits this horrible act against a female, gets ultimately turned into one. And that is such an interesting way to punish the sex offender, if you ask me. But then again, there's lots and lots of other points in the story and twists. Is he really the offender? When we speak about the movie, well, what if he got punished for a crime he didn't commit? What if? Read the book, see the film for yourself, and find out. It's going to be a hell of a roller coaster. The surgeon's obsession with control, beauty, and revenge distorts his character into something new and makes you question his actions. The story explores dark themes of revenge, identity, obsession, and transformation, blurring the line between victim and creation, love and cruelty. I tried my best not to spoil too much, besides this one wee moment that I hope the timestamp will help you guys. Normally I try not to give anything away, but sometimes you kind of have to in order to explain the circumstances. But then again, if you're really interested in, if anything sounded or looked intriguing in this video, yes, I highly recommend you check out the film. And if you are prepared, then read My Gale as well. That's going to be it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy twisted and interesting content, hopefully interesting, give this video a boost in the form of an erect thumb and subscribe for more, so much more. I humbly thank you for your attention, and I shall see you all as soon as possible. Goodbye.